Okay. We're live.
What's up, Jack?
We're in the same location. Look at that. Jeremy went all the way to Miami to do some podcasting and really to see his wonderful co-host here.
That's right. Absolutely, 100%. I think the last episode we did live was like episode 200 when we were in Japan.
That's right. That's right. This is not like a round number. We're not celebrating any huge milestones. And yet it should be a little bit more of a special episode since we're in the same room. And if I say anything wrong, Jeremy can smack me. I don't have Zoom protection anymore.
That's right.
Yeah.
Careful, careful.
All right. So what are we going to talk about?
Today we're going to talk about Spintext and the impact on deliverability can have. No?
Versus
what? Versus A/B testing, maybe? What's on your mind?
we don't even have the same topic in mind. That's fine. That's fine. Now, before we hit record,
But it's going to be very interesting because you're going to take it's 2 or 3 interesting things that we want to talk about.
Okay.
With
So
deliverability.
here's why it caught my interest. Spintext is kind of like personalization in the sense that it changes the message for different prospects. However, as we know, personalization is actually researching a lead, or I should say prospect, and customizing this message for them using, let's say good old fashioned research and typing on the keyboard. Okay. And the idea is it speaks to the prospect a little bit better, a little bit more for them, or a lot more for them, if you will, where Spintext varies it in order to help with deliverability, right?
Yeah, maybe we should say what Spintext is about, right?
Tell them what Spintext is,
Tell
Jeremy.
them that. So Spintext is a way of varying the message without without creating multiple versions. So to me, I see Spintext as being A/B testing on steroids, which basically means you have a piece of text and then you say, instead of saying hi, you can say, oh, it's hi or hello or good morning, whatever it is. You can actually specify different sentences, different words, and then it gets picked at random when the email gets sent.
But why? Okay, so I think we need to take 2 steps back.
Yeah, why?
Okay.
Why would you need that? Right?
So we change the message, whether through personalization or Spintext, for 2 reasons. The big one is it increases deliverability. Okay.
Yeah, and we can say why as well, because basically spam filters say, I haven't seen this message before, right? And that's a counteract what we call campaign fatigue, which is like this template's been used for so long that the spam filter TensorFlow actually start to learn that, hey, I know this message, maybe it's not well received, whatever. Like, okay, I'm going to deprioritize.
There you go. And so the more you mix up your messaging, the better your deliverability goes. And so what's the idea? Like, we're going to discuss why you should be using, how you should be using it, results from it. Like, what about Spintext needs to be discussed?
I think the interest of this episode is Spintext been there for a very long time, but I see that used more and more as volume goes up. In order to prevent your inbox deliverability to go down too fast.
Perfect.
Right.
So, okay. So
that's being proven effective. And I think that's why we're discussing this today.
Yeah. So first action item, if you're sending high volume campaigns or you have seen your deliverability rate go down, you really need to pay attention to Spintext. Why? Because if you're sending over, let's say 500 emails a day, good luck keeping up with manual personalization. It's just really difficult to do that, right?
In the past, we used A/B testing. Like I keep saying, like, hey, use A/B testing, even though you may not need to test that version against this version.
Yeah.
Just to give a healthy rotation of messages from your inbox.
Yeah.
It's not always sending the same thing. But I think even at low volume, I think Spintext is still interesting because it will really make all your email different.
Yes, but if you ask me, Jeremy, if
Yeah.
you find yourself having, I call it the luxury of a low volume campaign, why not use actual personalization? Save the spin text for your high volume campaign. I think, yeah,
Then we are coming to the core of the thing is like I've seen now Spintext being used on all the email, the CTA, the value proposition,
I understand.
the well, the
Right.
authority, the social proof, like it's all across the email now. It's not just like here's a boiler template and then there's just like one line for
Perfect.
personalization.
Perfect. So it is not an either or. So that's action item 3. Like you
Exactly.
can use spin tags
Yes, on top,
on top of your personalization.
100%.
What's the downside? Very, very, very little. And what's nice is you can actually control the variations of different sentences. I want to make sure it's absolutely painfully clear what we're talking about when we say spin tags here. So a really simple example is if you say hi, first name, and then you have bracket custom intro sentence. Custom intro sentence changes for every prospect in this low volume approach,
Yeah.
okay, which is best practice and nice. But the hi could be hi, hey, hello.
Yeah.
Right. Just as an example. And so you're introducing more different kinds of messages so that it's harder for spam filters to catch you. And therefore your deliverability rates go up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a way of rotating text, right?
Perfect.
But the interesting thing, like we keep giving the example of hey, hi, hello, whatever. This actually doesn't have any impact on spam filters because it's just the same structure. But you could change, for example, oh, now I'm going to have to come up with example on the fly. Let's say, give me an example of a value proposition, a one-liner value proposition,
Sure.
something.
We're trusted
Feel
by,
better.
yeah, we're trusted by 10% of the Fortune 500 companies.
Okay, so that will be a potential, first version,
Okay.
and then you will change that with a different.
The most secure platform for X.
Okay, for example, right? And then you will actually change that. And then now that becomes really different. And if you want to do spin tags really well, you may actually change one line by 2 lines as well. So the structure of your email is also changing. Now that's a bit advanced, but there's that that will throw off definitely, the spam.
Okay, so let's make a hard recommendation here. Is there anybody listening to this episode that should not immediately stop what they're doing and put in spin tags to their campaigns?
I don't think so. I think one of the fear we have with spin tags is like, but it's not the exact text that I'm sending to everyone. So it's going to be harder for statistics, because maybe people will react better to morning than something else or one version. I think the trick is really to not change the meaning of your email. Like, if you do spin tags by saying like, hey, we're the fastest, and then the other one is we're the cheapest, you're
Different.
testing different things.
Yeah.
And so that's a point number one.
I have an idea. So
Yeah.
being concrete, you might say, don't do we're the fastest and then the other spin texts were the cheapest in the same message.
That's right.
That's too different and you won't know what works. But
Exactly.
instead, what you could say is we're the fastest tool for X. Or you could say
X.
we load in under 1 millisecond, right? Which is better than the biggest competitors that you'll find. So it's still talking about speed, but in a very different way, yeah?
Yes, that's exactly it. But not but that's exactly it. And the other thing to consider is we're still sending relatively low volume for having proper A/B testing anyway, right? If your company is sending like just 100 emails or whatever, it's not going to be. You're never going to be able to A/B test to the exact word anyway. So think about ideas and then express them in different ways with the same thing.
It's perfect. So yeah, and if you're still clinging to the need to A/B test for statistically valid numbers, imagine you're trying to test a landing page that changes with every visit. You almost could not get a reliable number to tell you which variation it was because that's
right.
Too dynamic. And bear in mind that the more dynamic the email campaign is, the higher your chance of success is. So therefore, having a static template is almost you know, that you can test is almost going the other direction, right?
Yeah.
So that it's like the easier it is to declare a winner of your test, the worse you're doing your cold email setup, right? Because you want it to be dynamic
get it.
and yeah.
I get it. Yeah, 100%. Now, there's two things that actually I found interesting by looking at existing campaigns. The first one is, like I mentioned, there is spin text everywhere. Like every line is a spin text one. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And those people are actually sending 40,000 emails a day. So there's a lot of variation here.
So the higher the volume is, the more you need.
it. You'll
Mhm.
need it. And they did it for the preview line. You got the title,
Sure.
the subject line, but
Wow.
also for the preview line.
Wow.
Also like for every line inside the email and the signature as well. And the interesting thing about the signature of, do you mind if I talk about the quote stuff?
I do mind. That's going to wrap the episode. Of course, Jeremy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is the other interesting thing I found in as a Spintext usage is that that's been put in signature. And basically, you have different signature type as your Spintext.
Mhm.
It's pretty fun. And if you're clever enough, and then you have like 200 quotes or whatever, like you could
Yeah.
really go wild with putting stuff at the end, random stuff, and I thought that's pretty cool.
So we're at 9 minutes and 42 seconds. We usually have our little timer in the corner, but that would cover Jeremy's face here. So as we wrap, I think if you're doing cold email at any volume, go ahead and turn on spin text. Go ahead and make sure that your message is dynamic as possible.
Yep.
What other recommendations do we have on the close?
On the what?
As we wrap the episode,
Oh.
besides checking out quickmail.com for your cold email deliverability,
Deliverability is a priority. Use QuickMail.
there you go. And salesbread.com if you'd rather have myself take care of your lead gen campaign for you.
Yeah. I should. Damn it, what did I want to wrap up with? Oh yeah, I'm thinking like, if you're really worried about like the actual text that got your reply or whatever, well, just look at the replies. It's not like if you're going to get like hundreds of thousands of replies. Or for the guy with 40,000,
It's a lot.
a ton of replies.
It's a lot.
But you could still, find maybe potentially meaningful pattern in your replies. So, just export all your replies or look at the replies and then maybe ask ChatGPT,
Right.
or some of the tools.
So you're basically saying use qualitative data
Yes.
to figure out what's working as opposed
Exactly.
to quantitative.
Yeah.
Brilliant. All right. Jeremy, live from Miami.
Oh, yeah. Boom.
We do a boom. We're still working on it. We're used to the virtual. Yeah, amazing. And check out course.quickmail.io for more. And we'll do a couple more episodes from our live in studio rare special podcasting event.
That's right.
Stay tuned. Awesome,
Amazing.
Jeremy. Sweet.